Good dog. So here in New Zealand, we have some strict drone rules. So once I'm back in the studio, I'm going to give you a brief outline of what they are, how you can bypass them, how you can get certified. Come on, boy. And I'll also give you an example of what happens if you don't follow these rules. It's also worth pointing out, none of this is legal advice. Good dog.
So here in New Zealand, our rules are often referred to as the 101. First off with the height, which is 120 metres, which is 400 feet. Any further above that and you're in airspace. Secondly, we have a weight allowance of no more than 25 kgs. Out here, any drones around that weight are often used for agricultural purposes. It's also worth pointing out, drones under 250 grams still have to follow these rules. Unlike other countries where the rules are often exempt, that's not the case here in New Zealand. Thirdly, you have visual line of sight, so you must keep an eye on your drone at all times. There's no flying at night. I believe the cut-off times are around 30 minutes after first light and 30 minutes before last light. You can't fly over people unless you have their permission. Same goes for land. You can't fly over land unless you have permission. This also includes dockland. You can apply to dock to get permission. I believe there's like a $180 fee. More details can be found on their website. And lastly, you can't fly within 4 k's of an aerodrome. This rule is the one I'll be focusing on the most. So firstly, to legally fly here in Raglan, you have to be certified. And to get certified, you generally do a 2-day course. The first day is normally theory, and at the end of it, you have to do an exam. And on the second day, it's mainly all practical. Practical exam normally only takes 15 to 20 minutes. There's normally a large group of you, so you generally take it in turns. So once you're certified, you can actually go into DJI Fly Safe on the web. The main reason it's there is so that any responsibility purely lays in your hands and not DJI anymore. Thirdly, you have to contact the council. Now this was a real pain in the arse. I can't say that. I believe it took me about a week until I actually got hold of the right person, as I was often pushed from one person to the next, even when I was phoning and when I was emailing. Once you've contacted the right person, you generally have to send them an email. In this email, they will generally ask you if you're certified, ask the location of your flight, what height, what time, what day, and if you have a spotter. So a spotter is somebody who keeps an eye on the skies, because obviously while you're flying a drone, you're keeping an eye on the drone, as well as looking down at your controller. And the idea is that this person will notify you if there's any planes nearby. It is recommended that you use somebody who's generally had a little bit of experience when it comes to spotting planes. For example, I've actually relied on my wife a couple of times, which might not have been the best idea. For example, I was flying one day and I'm looking down at my controller and my wife goes, there's a plane. And I quickly look up and I can't see anything, I can't see a plane anywhere, and then a seagull just flies straight in front of me. I would like to say that's just a one-off, but that has happened on a couple of occasions. And finally, you have to register your flight on an app called AirShare. It's actually quite a good app to use, especially if you don't know the area, as it will show you all the areas you can and can't fly, and it will also give you the contacts of the people you need to notify. I'll do a separate video on the AirShare app, as there's a little bit more work involved in setting it up and how to use it. So all those previous rules I mentioned, such as flying at night and over people, you can actually get exempt from as well, but you have to apply for a 102 certification, and there's generally a lot more work involved with that. There is another way to bypass the rules regarding the 4Ks of an aerodrome, as well as flying at night, and we refer to that as a shielded operation. Now, a shielded operation is basically a barrier between you and the airport. And the idea behind the barrier is that if your drone gets disconnected, it'll fly into the barrier before it heads towards the airport. And in most cases, a height restriction of 100 feet. You also have to be within 100 feet of the base of that barrier. So what happens if you break these rules? I've heard of a few photographers being fined. Recently we had somebody on New Year's Day fly their drone at night with the fireworks going off and thousands of people below in a major city. Literally broke every rule under the sun, or night. And this video was shared on YouTube and it went quite viral, especially here in New Zealand. There's quite a few people who are asking what's going to happen to the guy. Is he going to be fined or is he going to be punished in some way? So what actually happened was, it turned out that the guy was from abroad and he just got a slap on the wrist. So it does kind of make you wonder in those situations why the rules are there in the first place. Again, this is not legal advice and it's up to you if you follow the rules or not. They are there for a purpose, no matter if you hate them or not. But if you've got any questions, please just drop me a comment and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks.